What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Zib, and welcome to the Rehab Christian Center New Year's Eve celebration experience. I'm so excited to be here with you. Can you believe it is almost 2023? I can't speak for anybody else other than to say this year went by incredibly fast. I don't know honestly what happened to this year. I was thinking about it a little bit this week, and I promise you, it just seems like we were having a New Year's Eve experience like yesterday, literally. This year really went by fast. And it's just crazy how fast time is flying. But we are here. We are at the edge of a brand new year. And I'm excited to be here with you today. And listen, just grateful. Let me start off before I kind of get into what I want to jump into today. I want to really just say thank you to all of you who have been so consistent and remain so consistent throughout the entire year and so supportive of us, even in this virtual space. It has certainly been a year that has presented some challenges, but we are just grateful for your consistency, for those of you that have remained constant and consistent throughout this entire time. I can't say thank you enough for your support. Not only your presence, but your support financially, your support through your prayers, just your support in so many different ways. And I am just grateful for you. I'm so grateful for you. And just thankful that you have continued to support us throughout this entire year. Listen, I truly believe this. I believe 2023 is going to be an amazing year. And, 2022, I'm up in the air on 2022. I'll be honest with you. It was an interesting year. It was a challenging year. But nonetheless, man, it went by so fast. And in spite of everything, God has still been good to us and has been good to us. And so I'm grateful for all of you. Seriously grateful, sincerely grateful to all of you. Again, just for your consistency, your support throughout the entire year. Listen, I need you to start liking this video, sharing this video. We're on all of our networks. I'm going to give you today 4 things I want you to work on in 2023. All right. It's going to be really quick. I'm not going to be long. This is typically what we do. Even when we were in our building, we would have a day service and a night service. The day for people who wanted to be with their family at night, and the night for people who were traditionally minded, who wanted to be in church in a traditional way. And so I certainly miss having a building, especially on days like today, where we could offer both of those things to you. But we're just in this format today, and I'm going to give you 4 things I want you to work on in 2023. If you know anything about me, you understand that I'm certainly a planner. A goal setter. I believe in doing that. You have to chart the vision for your life. If you want to be intentional about how you intend to see your life manifest in front of you, you got to be very intentional about the things that you chart for your life. And so I'm going to give you 4 very practical things today. I want to pray for you to close out this year, and we'll sow a seed and get on all off the line and out of your way. But it would be robbery not to be in front of you on today. Just really to just be thankful and give thanks for what has been a tremendous year for so many of you. Wow, I've watched so many of you, get new homes, new cars. Your health come into better condition. Your families grow stronger. I've seen so many of you land new careers and new opportunities. God has certainly been just great to so many of you, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of that, to be a part of your life, and to be a part of the great things that are happening in your life. So again, start liking the video, sharing the video. We're on all of our networks, Facebook, the Rehab Christian Center, Instagram, the Rehab Experience, YouTube, the REHABCC. We're everywhere this morning. And I'm going to get right into this. I'm not going to waste time, but I want to share these 4 things with you quickly because I do want you, as you are thinking about your new year, to be including this into the things that you are going to be preparing as you get ready for your new year. Keep in mind also, and we'll talk a little bit more about this tomorrow, we will have our 908 experience in the morning. And so we'll talk a little bit more about this in the morning, but keep in mind, you should be thinking about your focus word for 2023. If you've been with us any significant period of time, every year I challenge you to choose one word that you're going to focus on for the entire year. And so we're going to be thinking about 2023. And if you have not already, I want you to think about your focus word for 2023 and prepare that, because we want you to do your vision boards or whatever it is that you're going to do to set plans, to set goals for your year and have your focus set for the year. And so make sure you set your word. I already have my word. I can't wait to share it. I won't share it today, I don't believe, unless I slip up and say it. But I already have my word, my focus word for this year. And so I hope you've been giving that some thought as well and preparing your word for the year. Because again, it's so much better if you attack your brand new year with a clear focus, with some clarity in a clear direction versus kind of being scattered and all over the place. Really think about the root of what it's going to take for you to see success in your next year, and then build your goals around that focus word or that focus intention. And I'm telling you, some magical things are going to happen for your life. And we know that because we've lived it. And so again, think about your focus word for 2023. If you have not said it already, think about your focus word for 2023. And we will talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. And again, we want you to build your goals, craft your goals around those words that you set, but then also around these 4 principles I'm going to give you today. I'm going to give you 4 things I want you to work on in 2023. That's 3. That's what we're talking about. If there's a subject, for those of you that need a subject, that's what I'm going to give you today. 4 things I want you to include in your work for 2023, whatever it is that you're going to focus on. And we know you're going to be blessed because of it. And again, like the video, share the video. I know people are out and getting ready to celebrate tonight and do other things tonight. But again, I could not dare miss today. It has been a blessed year. And yes, it's been a challenging year, but it's been a blessed year. And we're just grateful to be here with you. And again, can't say thank you enough for all of you that have remained consistent in your support with us throughout the entire year. Now, 4 things I want you to focus on throughout the entire year. Number 1, here's the first thing I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on resilience. All right. I want you to record this. I want you to focus on resilience. Put that in the comments. Again, we want you to take notes in the comments. As always, you're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler whenever you go back to work. But we want you to focus on resilience. That's number 1. Why? Why is resilience so important? Well, you look at the definition of resilience. Resilience is nothing more than the ability to withstand or recover from difficulty. All right. Resilience is the ability to withstand or recover from difficulty. Resilience, you can record this, is the ability to recover or withstand difficulty. All right. And so when you are thinking about your goals for the new year, I want you to make sure that incorporated or infused into your goals, you're thinking about the impact that resilience is going to play in order for you to have a successful year next year. Here's the reality. If you think you're going to pursue your goals without resistance, right? Without difficulties, without hard times, without hard moments, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. If 2022 didn't teach many of us anything, it taught a lot of us that the only way you really are going to accomplish your goals in life is through difficult seasons. Listen, you cannot go around it. You have to go through it. And I don't want you to lose sight of that. Many of you have attempted to accomplish great things in your life, and I think that's wonderful. We all should have goals. But so many of you have attempted to accomplish your goals by going around difficulty, right? By going around troubles, by going around hard times, by going around tough moments. The reality is you can't get to it. You have to go through it. And that's something that I want you to hold on to for 2023. Stop avoiding hard times. You've got to build the resilience in you necessary to be able to withstand difficulties or to withstand hard moments or to withstand difficult seasons in your life. Now, because the reality is difficulties, hard moments, much like seasons, are temporary, right? They don't last forever. It doesn't rain every day. It's raining here in North Carolina. I don't know, we have people from all over that are tuned in, but it's raining here in North Carolina. I don't know where you are, but I know this, it's not going to rain for the next 3 weeks. It's just not going to happen, right? Seasons operate the same way. Difficulties operate the same way. They simply don't last forever. And so it takes a level of resilience to be able to withstand hard times and difficult seasons, even if at the end of those difficult seasons, you're left standing alone, or you're left standing by yourself, or you're left going through this journey by yourself. I'm telling you, I lost a lot in 2022, lost a lot of people in 2022. The reality of the matter is you simply have to go through it in order to get to whatever it is that you want. And there's no way around it. Resilience helps to build our character. Resilience helps to build our stamina. But more than that, resilience prepares us to be able to maintain the very things that we're going after. There are a lot of people who have prayed for things and God gave them to you. But many of you could not keep those things and maintain those things because you did not exercise and demonstrate the resilience necessary to be able to maintain those things. It's one thing to go out and work hard every day and work out every day to get a six-pack and to work hard to get that six-pack. It's another thing to have the resilience necessary to get up every single day and keep doing it so that you can maintain the six-pack that you just earned, right? And so the same thing applies to your life. If you're going to build goals in your life and pursue goals in your life, you have to also, with the pursuit of those goals, you have to make resilience, put resilience at the forefront of what it is that you're looking to achieve, all right? Because again, resilience reflects our ability or our capacity to withstand or recover quickly from difficulties. I like the word quickly in this particular definition, because it's one thing to recover, right? I've resumed my counseling and coaching that I do as a part of my business. I'm really going to ramp that up in 2023. I just needed a breather. I needed a moment to really just gather myself. So many things moving. And so really at a place now where I can really fully throw myself back into that, into the podcast and other things that I've got going on personally for me. But one of the things, I told people, when I resumed this year, and some clients that I had, was simple. It should not have taken you all 2022 to recover from things, right? You should have not been using the entire year of 2022 to recover from things, to recover from difficulties, to recover from moments. And if you did, you've got to work on your resilience, right? Because part of being resilient is not just recovering, but it's also being able to recover quickly. And that's what I want you to think about, right? As you think about these four things I want you to focus on in 2023, I want you to think about how can I, when difficult moments come in my life, because they're going to come, right? 2023 is going to present with it its own set of difficulties, right? And we're not speaking negativity, obviously, over your life. We're not speaking hard times, obviously, over your life. What we are speaking is a little bit of reality, right? There is some negativity, or rather, there are some hard times, some difficult moments that are coming in 2023. But part of putting resilience on your game plan is ensuring that not only do you have the capacity to recover and the capacity to withstand from difficult moments, but you have the capacity to do it quickly. Right? Because the sooner you can recover from hard times, the faster you're going to be able to grow forward, right? It's one thing to fall down. It's another thing to fall down and stay down for 3 months and you stay in bed for 3 months while you're recovering, right? Yeah, it might be some bedtime. It might be some downtime. That was a horrible example. It might be some bedtime. It might be some downtime, right? When it comes to you recovering, but resilience says, I'm going to work hard to recover quickly. Right. And so I want you to get that ingrained in your thoughts, right? As you're journaling right now, as you're taking notes, maybe you're typing this in your phone. Maybe you've got your vision board right in front of you. I need you to ingrain in your spirit right now and prepare your mind to be able to recover quickly. All right. Be able to recover quickly, not just recover from difficult times, but be able to recover quickly, be able to bounce back quickly, right? To heal appropriately. And that doesn't suggest recovering quickly. I feel like I'm getting down a tangled web. I could really talk for hours on this because I've lived this. Recovering quickly doesn't mean that you're not healing, right? You're not taking the time to heal, right? If you fall or you have a difficult moment or a setback and it requires some healing, it doesn't mean that you don't take the time to heal. I'm not suggesting that. You want to take the time to heal. Understand, the goal should be that after healing has occurred, to recover as quickly as you possibly can, right? So that you can continue to pursue your goals, continue to pursue the things that you set forth for your life, even in the midst of the challenges that you've experienced or faced in your life, all right? So that's number one. First thing I want you to work on in 2023 is resilience. Here's the second thing I want you to work on in 2023, and that's this word called grit, Grit. It's one of my favorite words. Grit, Grit. I want you to work on your grit in 2023. What is grit? Grit is nothing more than the strength of character that comes through courage. We're going to talk a little bit more about courage in a second because courage is one of the 4 things I want you to work on. But grit is nothing more than our strength of character that comes through courage. It is courage's way of building character in us when we keep going, right? Grit. It's, I used to be an athlete And, you know, it's always funny when you watch sports now, right? You can watch two teams, you know, Carolina, North Carolina, University of North Carolina is my favorite college basketball team. And it's always funny to watch them and frustrating to watch them play a lot of times because I can watch Carolina lose to a team that does not have as much talent as they do, that doesn't have as many talented players or as many 4 or 5-star recruits as Carolina has. But Carolina will lose to teams who have more grit. And when I think grit, I think toughness, right? That's the word that I really want you to lift out of this word grit today, right? As you're thinking about your 2023 and the things that you're going to set forth for your new year, in addition to adding resilience to your list, I want you to add grit or toughness, because what sports has taught me as a former athlete is that you don't necessarily always have the best talent to win a game or to win in a particular sport. But if you have grit or you have toughness, it is grit or toughness that can compensate for the talent you don't have. And this thing is very applicable to our lives, right? When we think about our lives, many of you, if you really just keep it 100, you weren't born with the mental capacity to run a business, right? You weren't born maybe with some of the same academic smarts as other people who went back and got multiple degrees and are scientists and all of these things, or won Nobel Peace Prize. You weren't born with that stuff, but there's one thing you do have, and it's grit. And let me tell you something, what life has taught me. When you got toughness, you may not even have the same skill sets or the same qualifications. You may not look as good on paper as other people do. But baby, when you have toughness and grit can compensate in many ways for talent. You need resilience on your team, right? These are the 4 things you're gonna be working on in 2022, in addition to all of your goals. You need resilience, but the second thing you need is grit. You need toughness, because I'm here to tell you, when you have toughness can compensate for talent that you don't have. Toughness can compensate for the degrees you don't have. Toughness can compensate for the qualifications. And I put that in quotes, right? Because sometimes we give way too much credit to qualifications. There are people that I know right now that are successful in all kinds of spaces who don't have a lot of degrees behind their name, right? They don't have doctor in front of their name, right? They even dropped out of college. Some of them didn't even go to college, right? Some of them dropped out of high school, right? So it's not about the qualifications, quote unquote, that you have. But I'm here to tell you, toughness and grit goes a very long way, because grit speaks to your character in difficult times. It is your ability to keep going when you want to quit. It is your ability to keep moving forward when you want to give up on your vision, when you want to give up on your goals, when you want to give up on your dreams. And I want for most of you, above everything else, yeah, I know you got a fancy vision board and you got your husband on there, you got all of this stuff on there, but above everything else, let me tell you what I really want in your life. I want you to increase your grit level. I want you to have more grit in your life, because again, you're going to hit some bumps in 2023. But I like that, Sonae, and thank you again, Nick, Minister Carlos, Sister Monique, for just, what you did on Sunday. Really enjoyed the conversation we had Sunday. She just put a very important point that most underdogs have grit. And that's why Carolina will mess around and lose to all of these sorry teams, not because the other team has better talent, but because they have grit. Let me tell you something. Having been a somewhat talented player in the past when I played ball, and some of the teams that I hated to play the most were those scrappy, gritty, tough teams, right? Boys couldn't hardly play, but they were gritty. They were in your face. They would never quit because they always kept the game tight. And let me tell y'all something. Here's a word. You ready for this word? In this season of your life, there are going to be some times where you're down on the scoreboard. You ain't going to be winning. I know what social media tells you. I know social media tells you you're always going to be winning, but the reality of the matter is you're not going to always be winning. There are going to be some seasons in your life where you're going to be down on the scoreboard. You're going to be losing, but I want to challenge you in 2023 to keep the game tight. When I say keep the game tight, I mean look at the scoreboard and stay within a couple of points of your goal, right? Don't worry about it. if you're down 2, if you're down 3, if you're down 30, if you're down 40, that means you got to buckle up and work harder. I'm trying to give you a sports analogy to make this make sense. But the goal is to keep the game tight. Why? Because if you keep the game tight, within the last minute, 2 minutes, you got a chance to win. Right? And so many people are so focused on winning right now. Don't miss this word. So many people are so focused on winning right now that they make winning right now the focus instead of keeping the game tight the focus. And sometimes you've got to do this thing in chunks and pieces. You got to keep the game tight. Keep the score within 2 or 3 points. Get down to the final minute or 2 of the game, and then really ramp up your offense, really ramp up your defense, really ramp up your business plan, really ramp up your vision board, right? Really ramp up the things you're doing day in and day out to accomplish your goals. Because if you keep the game tight, you got a chance to win. And that's where grit and toughness comes into play. I don't want anybody quitting in 2023 on anything that you set out and plan for your year. Because here's another reality for you. Yeah, it's 1:29 Eastern time here on the East Coast. But here's the reality. Even if you wanted God to do some things for you in 2022, he's still enough God to do it in the next 11 hours. That's the kind of God he is, right? And a lot of times, whether or not he does it is really so contingent on your grit. It's on your toughness. It's on your ability to remain focused, to stay the course when things get hard or difficult or moments get tough, right? So I need you to employ more grit in your life. You've got to employ more grit in your life, toughness, right? And just keep the game close. Don't forget, if you don't remember anything I said to you today, I want you to remember that. Keep the game close. Because if you can keep the game close, eventually you're going to be positioned to win at whatever it is that you're trying to do. Here's the third thing I want you to work on in 2023. Record this. The third thing I want you to work on in 2023, and I like that, Sonia is really preaching this morning. She said, I've been down and I always come back. And I love it. And there's something about being an underdog. I've said this on our broadcast so many times before. I can't explain it other than to say there's something about being an underdog that really just turns me on. Like, it's nothing like being down by 30 and everybody think you ain't gonna win, or being down by 30 and nobody thinks you're gonna come out on top, right? Being down by 30 and nobody thinks that what it is you plan for your life is going to work out, right? There's nothing like that, because when everybody else counts you out, my dad, who used to be my former track coach and basketball coach, used to call it gut check time, right? When everybody counts you out, that's when you got to dig deep and figure out if you have what it takes to grind it out and get the win. I love being the underdog. Let me tell y'all something. Let me just give y'all a point of personal. There's a lot of people that counted me out this year. There are a lot of people that just rolled off me and rolled off rehab. Let me tell you something. I like it here. I love it here because I've got the grit and the determination to always succeed at whatever it is that I've set out to do. You've got to employ that mentality. And when you employ that mentality, it's hard for people to fade you. It's hard for situations to fade you. All right. Look at this. The third thing I want you to work on in 2023 is your focus. Record it. I want you to put it in all capital letters. I like that. Pastor Sonia, I like it. Pastor Ryder. The third thing I want you to work on in 2023 is focus. All right. Put it in all capital letters. I want you to work on your focus in 2023. What is focus? Focus is simply an act of concentrating on an interest or an activity. All right. Focus is simply an act of concentrating on an interest or an activity. Focus is an act of concentrating on an interest or activity. I don't mean to be funny when I say this, but for many of you, I am praying that God really deals with your attention, your ability to hold your attention. Some of you have very short attention spans, and this is something that I've had to personally work on. I'll be honest with you. I think the more you have on your plate and the more things you have to manage, it is quite natural for your attention to be all over the place. I'm with you, Sonia. I'm in the same boat. I really needed help in this space. If you're managing, you work a job, you got a career, you manage a business, you manage a church, you got a family, you got all of this stuff going on. it's easy to be working on one thing, but have your focus somewhere else, right? Or to be doing one activity, but have your mind on another, place somewhere else. That's so very common. And I need all of us to employ a greater attention to focus in 2023, right? When I say focus, I mean focusing on your goals, right? And being present in every moment. I want you to remember this. This is something, so one thing that I've done, to just give you something practical, you've heard me talk about this before, I make no mistakes about it. Every morning, I get up, the routine, I get up, I pray for you, I do all of that. But then before I really get into my day, I also sit down and I take 30 minutes to meditate. Now, you don't have to meditate for 30 minutes. Especially if you're just starting off meditating, it might be hard for you to reel in your focus and your attention span for that long a period of time. When you've done it for a while, 30 minutes really feels like 10. And not only does it feel like that, you can literally be sitting and meditating and your body will tell you when the 30 minutes is up. I can't explain it other than to say your body then just becomes accustomed to even the time, space and time. And it's total nerd talk. I won't go down that rabbit hole, but meditation certainly helps with focus. And I want to share this with you. One of the ways you can help with your focus, in addition to meditating, right? And what does meditation mean? It means to just sit with the present moment. That's all you do. When you meditate, you sit with the present moment, right? It's learning how to be still in the present. One of the things I want to challenge you to do, if this is something you need to work on, is to remember two phrases, right? Every single day, you want to be present in the present, and you want to focus on your focus. Don't forget that. You want to be present in the present. You want to be present in the present, and you want to focus on your focus. Okay? Be present in the present and focus on your focus. What does that mean? That means when you're in the present, whatever present moment, like right now, aside from taking notes every now and then, because sometimes I say things and it makes me think about other things. But right now, all I'm focusing on is what I'm doing. And that's talking to you and trying to empower you, give you what God has given me, right? It's being present in the present. Right now, my focus is on my focus, right? So when I say focus on your focus, I mean focus on what it is you're focusing on. Sometimes you got to take a step back and ask yourself, where is my focus, right? If you find yourself, and I see you, Nick, where your mind is racing, it's wandering, my mind wanders a lot. Right. And this is a challenge also with creatives. A lot of the creatives and people that I've worked with that are just creative minds. One consistent pattern that I've noticed is that the more creative your mind is, the more your mind tends to wander all over the place. Right. And so you will find yourself mind racing or your mind wandering all over the place because it's always moving. It's always thinking. Right. And so the way we reel that in is sometimes we have to step out of the present and ask ourselves, what are we focusing on right now? Right. And that's the way I've calmed that down. When I've caught myself, my mind being all over the place, and this happens a lot in meditation because for like the first 5 minutes, typically by the time I sit over in that chair and it's just darkness and I set my timer on my iPad for 30 minutes. But, for the first 5 minutes, normally my mind is just all over the place. Right. I mean, it's thinking about everything from my kids to work, to rehab, to pepperoni pizza, to gas in my car, to, clothes, to my family, to parents. Like it just goes all over the place for like that first 5 minutes. What I have to do to set my mind, in addition to just doing some light breath work, is asking myself, what am I focusing on right now? And that helps to reel all of that stuff in. And it reminds me that I'm sitting in the chair in the dark and I'm meditating. And when I continue to focus on that thought, then all of those other thoughts about pepperoni pizza and all of that stuff tends to dissipate and my focus returns to the present moment. So again, I want you to ask yourself those two questions. Maybe you do it during meditation. Maybe you do it throughout the day. But I want you to ask yourself or say to yourself, be present in the present and focus on your focus, right? I'm going to be present in the present. I'm going to focus on my focus. I do that every single day. I say that every single day when I'm working on my book or I'm working on work or I'm working on church work or I'm working on stuff with my kids, when I'm at dinner with my kids, when I'm hanging out with them. Try not to be on my phone, right? Why? Because my focus at the time is on my family, right? I'm focusing on my focus. I'm being present in the present, right? Try it. I know it sounds weird, but just say that to yourself. Let's be present in the present and let's focus on our focus. All right. I'm going to focus on my focus. I'm going to be present in the present. And you're going to see that helps you to really concentrate better on the tasks that are in front of you. And again, I know it's hard, entrepreneur. I know it's hard, creative. I know it's hard, family man, family woman. You've got all of these obligations, responsibilities. I know it's hard to do, but I'm here to tell you, if you can be present in the present and focus on your focus, you're going to find yourself just reeling yourself in and really being in the moment of where you need to be. I'll tell you something else that needs to happen that will help you. Get off social media a little bit. Take a break off social. Y'all know I am pro social media fast. I don't even care if you have a business. If you had a business, set it up to where your business can operate itself for a week or something. Hire somebody to manage your sales. I know it's asking a lot. I'm telling you something I do consistently. I take at least two social media breaks a year. I try to do that. Really with the plans I've got for 2023, I got to figure out how I'm going to do that next year, but I'm going to figure it out. But take a break from social media. Why? Because social media sometimes helps to build into or feed into our distractions, right? And feed into the things that has our minds all over the place, right? And so again, take a break from social media. Go to dinner without your phone. When you're on vacation, yes, take some pictures of your food, take some pictures of your friends with your excursions, things like that when you first get there or when you finish. But then don't be on the excursion. Don't be snorkeling and you so busy like this that you can't see the fish because you like this. Embrace that moment. Absorb that moment. Consume that moment. Be present in the present. Focus on your focus. I'm telling y'all, this works. I've done it. And when you do that, man, you're going to see that you start to pick up on the little nuances and intricacies of life. And life just feels different, right? You feel so much more grateful and thankful for your life and the things you do have. And it just changes your perspective. I can't explain it other than to say that. All right. And so again, you got to just really be focused. I want you to be more focused in 2023. Yeah, there's a lot of distractions. Social media is a huge one. But I just need you to be focused. I'm going to continue to post probably at an even greater cadence in 2023 on my personal page, just because of some plans that I have, personal goals that I have. But one of the things I'm already thinking about is how can I continue to do that and infuse it into my schedule and be disciplined enough, my 2023 word, disciplined enough to do what I need to do. But also once I'm done with that, get off social media and get back to the other things that I have to attack. It requires focus, right? It requires being present in the present and being focused on your focus. All right. Don't y'all forget that. All right. Here's the fourth thing I want you to work on in 2023. All right. The fourth and final thing I want you to work on in 2023. So to recap really quickly, for those of you that are just tuning in, number one, I want you to work on your resilience. Number two, I want you to work on your grit. All right. Number three, I want you to work on your focus. And the fourth and final thing I want you to include into your focus for 2023 with all of your goals. And I love Audible books, by the way. Dog Sonate, man, we don't have to talk, Sonate, because you really just be killing us on broadcast. I love it. And we're going to have to talk. I'm going to put that in my notes. I ain't going to forget. And Nick will tell you I'm a man of my word. The fourth thing I want you to work on is your courage. 2023, I need you to work on your courage. So you're going to work on your resilience, grit, focus. And the fourth thing I want you to include with all of your other goals is your courage. What's courage? It is the ability to do something in the face of fear. It is the ability to do something in the face of pain. It is the ability to do something in the face of grief. It is the ability to do something in the face of opposition. It is the ability to do something when the odds are stacked against you. You've got to work on your courage in this season of your life, because the reality is, I said it on my social media last week, I'll repeat it again today. God only gives his greatest battles to his greatest soldiers. If you have great opposition in your life, it is because you have a great reward working on you. I ain't no fool. I was telling a friend this last night. I'm not a fool. The opposition that I have faced in my life, especially over the last 2.5 years, is a direct reflection of the goals and the plans that I have and that God has for my life. And God only gives great battles to people who are going to have great outcomes. And so the reason why many of you have great fears, the reason why many of you have experienced great grief, the reason why many of you have experienced great pain, the reason why many of you have experienced great opposition is because you have great outcomes that are waiting on you. You have outcomes that are waiting on you. And I'm with you, Nick. I feel the same way. Man, I've got friends who have so many great battles. You know, when I think, and this is what perspective does. Sometimes you look at your stuff, right? I look at all the things that challenges I've had over the last 2.5 years. And man, sometimes if you really think on it, you can really just kind of feel down. And then I think about my friends who are going through 3 times what I'm dealing with. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, so, perspective, perspective challenges us to keep things in perspective, if that makes sense. And so I just need you to find the courage to keep going in 2023, right? I need you to find the courage to be willing to go up against opposition that seems bigger than you. I need you to find the courage to start the business if you're in the season where it's time for you to start a business. I need you to find the courage to keep the business moving and flourishing if you're in a season where your business has hit some bumpy roads, or maybe your net income hasn't, your profits haven't been looking the way you want them to look. I need you to find the courage to go back to school. If going to school and sitting in a classroom completely frightens you, I need you to find the courage to go back to school. I need you to find the courage to date again. I need you to find the courage to accept that date, to accept that relationship with those winners who can make your life better. Yeah, I know people going to talk. I get it. So what? I need you to find the courage to be happy, right? I need you to find the courage to do these things, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself stagnant. You're going to find yourself stuck. You're going to find yourself allowing opposition to dictate your every move. And you cannot allow yourself to let opposition dictate your every move, right? To dictate your circumstances, to dictate your journey. No, you got to find the courage to overcome that. So I need you to find the courage in 2023. And all of those wonderful things you got on your vision board, I'm here to tell you, if they're worth having, it's going to require some courage to get it. If you've got anything significant on your vision board for 2023 or in your plans for 2023, I'm here to tell you, without even looking at your plans, I can guarantee you that in order for you to accomplish those things, it is going to require some courage. You've got to find the courage to go after it. And I'm here to tell you, again, the greater the goals, the greater the courage you're going to need. You're going to need a whole lot more courage to go after big goals. You're going to need a whole lot more courage. You'll need a whole lot more courage to go after things that are game changers, right? I ain't talking about these little goals, that anybody can accomplish. I'm talking about those of you that have a purpose that's so unique. You've got a calling that's so unique. You've got an idea that's so unique. I was telling the same friend last night, we're sharing some things with her about some things that I want to do. And it's just so out of the box, and it's so different, especially in this religious, spiritual space. It's so different. And, I know it's different. And I know with that difference is going to come a lot of challenge. But, she had to remind me, and what she said was very profound. And that is that when you go after big things, it's not our job to figure out the how. Our job is to focus on the what. It is. And typically, the bigger the what, the more scary the how looks, right? We look at the how, we try to figure out, how am I going to accomplish it? How am I going to obtain this? How am I going to be successful in this? How am I going to fix this or accomplish this? And we get stuck in the house. That's not our job. Our job has to be to focus on the what. What is it that we want to accomplish? What is it that we want to make happen in our lives? And to go after those things. And if we go after those things, and we find the David kind of courage, the same courage David had when he went after Goliath, we find the same courage to look beyond the odds that are stacked against us and to focus on who's for us. You're going to accomplish every single you see in 2023. Listen, that's my prayer for you this year. Every single goal, if you've got the courage to write it down, that you will have the go after it. I want you to word that. I want you to remember that. If you have the courage to write it down, my prayer is that you find the courage to go after it. If you have the courage to write it down, you got to find the courage to go after it. I'm serious. If you got the courage to vision it out, you got to find the courage to go after it. All right? The same courage that it took for you to take that idea and put it on paper and look at it in black and white is the same courage you got to find to go after. And I like that, Nick. There's nothing wrong with nervous excitement. As a professional public speaker, someone who teaches this for a living, teaches people how to public speak for a living, I'm here to tell you, I always taught my students over the years that a little bit of nervousness, if you apply it right, will help you to perform at your maximum potential. There's never been a time, even in coming on the air, right? Doing sermons or doing talks or whatever, there's never been a time where I have not had a little bit of courage in my stomach. I mean, a little bit of nervousness in my stomach, right? A little bit of butterflies. Why? Because it is that nervous energy mixed with that excitement about doing something that you are passionate about. Let me tell you something. When you combine that nervous energy with that excitement about your purpose, and you combine them together and let them work together, you end up performing well. You end up executing well. I'm telling you, whether it has been talking, been broadcast where it's been 10 people on, been broadcast where it's been 80, 100 people on, there've been talks where I've had 15 people in the room. I've done talks with 2,000 in the room. And the same nervous energy applies regardless of the setting, right? And so you've got it's okay if you've got a little bit of nervousness about you going into this new year. You've written your goals and you're looking at them. You're like, man, this is big. These are a lot of things. These goals are huge. I understand the nervousness that might come with that, but let that nervousness and that excitement fuel you and drive you and see yourself having already accomplished those things and keep pushing forward in your courage. Keep being resilient. Keep being tough, right? Show your grit through all of this and stay focused. And I promise you, this is the formula. If you apply these 4 things in your life, you're going to see every single goal that you have set for your life start to come into fruition. Does this bless anybody today? If it did, I want you to fill this up with heart. Put a hand emoji in there really quickly. I want to pray for you. This is the last time I'm going to pray for you in 2022. So for those of you, handful of you that are tuned in, those of you that are maybe even watching the replay right now, I want to pray for you really quickly. It is my prayer that this message was a blessing to you. But more than that, man, I want you to know, and yeah, call me Nick, I got you. I want you to know that you're about to go into one of the greatest seasons of your life. 2023, I really believe, is going to be an incredible season for so many of you. And especially for those of you that didn't wait until today to start working on your goals. You didn't wait until today to start working on your dreams, on your vision. Many of us have been, I've been charting out 2023 since September. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been charting out my next year since 2023. I can show you my journal to prove it, right? That's got my vision boards and the things I've scripted for my life. I can show it to you. I'm not making this stuff up. So many of us ain't even wait till today to start working on this stuff, right? And I know 2023 is going to be an amazing year. And I want you to know I'm rooting for you. Listen, connect your hands like this as a sign of symbol of faith. I want to pray with you. I want to touch and agree with you right now. This last prayer of 2022. I want to pray for you, your family, your friends, your loved ones, your business, your careers, your relationships, your marriage, your friendships, whatever it is you got going on in your life. I want to pray for you today because we know that the effectual, fervent prayer of the righteous still works. And I'm excited. Listen, let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, I thank you today for such an exciting word. What an exciting time you have us in as we are on the cusp of a brand new year in our lives. And for many people, a brand new season. I pray this prayer, God, that your people will not wait until a time change to make a life change. Help us to understand that right now, at this moment, we still have the opportunity to carry out the vision and the plans and the goals we've set for our lives and the things that you've established for our lives. Help us to have the resilience and the grit and the focus and the toughness necessary, the courage necessary to pursue our goals and to pursue every dream that we've set forth in our lives. We thank you, God, for 2022. We thank you for the trials. We thank you for the tribulations, the obstacles, the challenges, the hard times. the difficult moments, the difficult seasons. We thank you for every single obstacle that's come our way in 2022. Why? Well, number one, it didn't kill us. It is the very fact that we are alive to be able to pray to you that is a testimony by itself that you've kept us, that you have sustained us. So we thank you, God, for not allowing challenges to take us out. But not only is it a testimony to that, it is a testimony that every single challenge was designed to make us better. I thank you, God, for making us better in 2022 as a result of every difficult thing we've experienced, every hard time we've gone through, every challenging and rough moment we've had to maneuver through. I thank you, God, for allowing that to not make us bitter, but to make us better. It is my prayer, God, that as these last and final hours of this year come to an end, that number one, that you would keep us, that you would allow us to see the new year. And then two, that you would allow us to maintain this same level of excitement and enthusiasm that we have right now for the new year, that by this time next year, we have the same energy, we have the same excitement, we have the same enthusiasm, knowing that everything you promise in our lives, you're more than capable of performing it for us. Help us, God, to continue to trust you. Help us, God, to continue to keep our goals and keep our focus on our goals so that we can be everything we've been designed to be, desired to be, and much more. We count these things done, and we believe you for them. In Jesus' name, amen. Do me a favor. I want you to put in the comments, Happy New Year. Would you do that? Make sure you type in the comments quickly, Happy New Year. I want to challenge you to give quickly as you're doing that. If this message, if this ministry has been a blessing to you, I want to challenge you to give in this year, sowing a seed this year, a sacrificial seed as you end 2022. I don't care what it is. I want to challenge you to give today. You can give via CashApp, $REHABCCGIVE. You can give through our website, www.rehabcc.org, and choose online giving. Or you can text REHABWORKS to 336-642-3210. That's 336-642-3210. Good. I see so many of you saying it is so. I see so many of you saying Happy New Year. Listen, I want to challenge you to give. I'm so excited about this new year and everything that's great that's happening in your life and that will happen in your life. And I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be encouraged. It's going to be an amazing season for you, and we're certainly rooting for you. Listen, make plans to meet me in the morning, 9:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all of you that are going to be turning up tonight, because I ain't no fool. My church is called Rehab for a reason. For all of you who are going to be out turning up tonight, be safe wherever you are. That's my prayer for you. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, your loved ones, and then set your alarm clock. I don't even care if you have to watch broadcasts in the morning and you got your clothes on from tonight. I don't care. I want you to tune in the morning for our broadcast, 9:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be right here on all of our networks, and can't wait to give you the first year word for 2023. And it's going to be a blessing to you. Listen, Happy New Year to all of you. I can't see every comment on our networks, but Happy New Year to all of you. I love you like a fat kid loves cake at Dairy Queen. And I'm certainly praying that you have a tremendous day today, that you enjoy this final day of 2022, that you wake up in the morning refreshed, renewed, and excited about the great things that are ahead. I love you. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. Have a tremendous day. I'll see you in the morning. Peace and blessings.
Thank you for watching the Rehab Christian Center live experience. If this broadcast has been a blessing to you and you would like to be a blessing to our leader, Dr. Zeb Talley III, you can sow a seed into his ministry by Cash App at $, Pastor